Here's the market cycle for XRP, and this time we're taking the win. Oh yeah, I get it. Last market cycle, XRP kind of sat on the bench. Sure, it pumped, but it didn't even sniff a new all-time high, not even close. But now, this time is different. Since the November elections, XRP hasn't just been performing, it's been dominating, ranking as the #1 coin among the top 100 by market cap. The #1. It's hard not to draw parallels to 2017 when XRP was the best performing coin across the entire crypto market. Back then, from the bottom to the top of the cycle, it soared by a jaw-dropping 80,000%. The exciting part, we don't even need that level of ROI this time to create life-changing wealth. So many of you have been here for years, standing strong in the community, weathering all the SEC drama. But guess what? We've come through it stronger. XRP was held back, unfairly suppressed, but now the market is catching up in a big way. And let me tell you, this is just the beginning. As an XRP holder, it's been incredible to watch what's unfolding. But here's the thing, there's so much more ahead. In this video, I'm going to dive into why you should be excited because trust me, the journey isn't over yet. Oh, and spoiler alert, some of this will tie directly to Ethereum. Ethereum's been down in the dumps lately, both in price and sentiment. But let me tell you, I don't see it staying that way for long. And honestly, I don't want it to. As an Ethereum holder, I've got skin in the game. That said, my excitement is off the charts for XRP, my top crypto holding. Here's the thing. Historically, Ethereum has been the spark that lights up altcoin season. And when it moves, it moves. But trust me, it won't take much for XRP to create life-changing wealth for countless people. In fact, when you really think about Ethereum's potential, it gives even more reason to be hyped about XRP. One quick note, I'm not a financial advice. This isn't financial. Please don't make any buying or selling decisions based on my thoughts alone. This is just me sharing my perspective. All right, as I hit record, it's 4:40 Adam Central Time on Tuesday, May 6, 2025. Who knows what XRP's price is by the time you're watching this, even if it's dipped a little. No biggie, markets tend to cool off after a rally. It's just part of the game. Oh, and let's not forget, Bitcoin recently soared to nearly $98,000, 0 cents. Crazy times, huh? Not too long ago, XRP was sitting around 235 cents or so, give or take. Pullbacks like this, totally normal in the wild world of crypto, nothing to panic about. Now check out this post from chart analyst Bobby A. This guy nailed it, seriously. There's just one tiny thing I have to nitpick. Maybe I'm reading it differently than he meant, or maybe his brain and fingers weren't quite in sync. It's a super small detail though. The rest, absolute home run. He dives into the market as a whole, but focuses on XRP, calling it the star of this cycle. Ethereum may have owned the last altcoin run, but this time, it's XRP's turn to shine. It's doing exactly what Ethereum did in the previous cycle, and it's looking like XRP is stealing the spotlight now. To me, this all adds up perfectly. XRP, the #2 altcoin by market cap, excluding stablecoins, is making serious waves. If Ethereum is struggling a bit this cycle, understandable after its strong performance last round, and XRP, previously held back, is now gaining ground. Doesn't it make sense that this momentum will continue? I think so. This game isn't over. XRP is gearing up to outshine both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and by the end of this cycle, it's going to leave them in the dust. In my eyes, we're already well on our way, but let's break it down. Back in 2020, Ethereum built a strong bullish market structure, while Bitcoin revisited its previous cycle's peak as support, roughly $20,000, 0 cents for those newer to the space. XRP, meanwhile, was held back, but now it's a force to be reckoned with. This cycle is shaping up to be something truly epic. Back in December 2017, Bitcoin nearly hit $20, 0 cents, marking a historic moment for the crypto world. Fast forward a few years and Bitcoin began gaining momentum again, not peaking just yet, but building serious steam. By December 2020, it reached a new all-time high, kicking off another exciting cycle. After a bit of a pullback and retesting totally normal in crypto, Bitcoin took off like a rocket, smashing through $65,000, 0 cents in April. Many chart analysts point to this as the true peak of the cycle, especially when it comes to altcoin performance. Sure, Bitcoin technically nudged a little higher in November 2021, but if you ask most analysts, they'll show you a list of metrics that suggest April was the real climax of the run. Reno never fails to keep us guessing, does it? That's why many analysts believe April or May typically marks the peak of the cycle. But here's the kicker. When Bitcoin dipped, testing its previous all-time high as support, it wasn't a moment to panic. It was a moment to get incredibly excited. And that's exactly where we find ourselves now. Let me break it down for you. Here's what's happening. As Bitcoin began its price surge in early 2021, Ethereum followed suit, skyrocketing from around $1,300.00 to an astonishing $4.85. Fast forward to 2025, and XRP's market structure is now mirroring Ethereum's from 2020. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has spent months consolidating and retesting its prior cycle highs as support. Here's the key takeaway. XRP in this cycle is shaping up to be what Ethereum was in the last one. Let that sink in for a moment. The parallels are hard to ignore. When it comes to altcoins, Ethereum has been the clear frontrunner, no question about it. Specifically among large caps, it's been leading the charge. It's the number one altcoin by market cap for a reason. Now let's talk about XRP. Last cycle, it could have been a game changer if it weren't for all the SEC drama, but hey, that's in the past. Now that the market is free to move as it should, XRP looks primed to seriously outperform expectations. Here's the kicker. From a chart analysis perspective, XRP's current position in the cycle, especially with its recent momentum, is drawing comparisons to where Ethereum once was. That's why double-digit price predictions for XRP aren't as far-fetched as they sound. Just think about it for a second. It's all lining up. What would it take for XRP to hit $10.00? Surprisingly, not much. Let's rewind to 2017-2018. XRP and Ethereum were neck and neck battling for the number 2 spot in market cap. And guess what? XRP actually claimed that spot multiple times. Yes, for a brief moment in history, XRP was second only to Bitcoin. Crazy, but not impossible to imagine happening again. XRP is in catch-up mode now, but it's a coin that just makes sense. One of the crypto space's early trailblazers. Look back at last cycle, everything was held back. XRP's peak last time was just $2,861, while Ethereum soared to $4,861.00, according to Live CoinWatch. With momentum building, who's to say XRP can't make a major comeback? The potential is there, and the past shows it's possible. Let's break this down. Ethereum's market cap during its last cycle hit roughly $568 billion, 0 cents. Now imagine if XRP simply matched that performance, not reaching Ethereum's potential this cycle, because let's be real, Ethereum could soar way beyond its previous all-time high, but just matching what Ethereum accomplished last time around. What would that mean for XRP's value? Well, it would put each XRP in around $10.00. That's right, just mirroring Ethereum's last cycle would push XRP into double digits. Now consider this, Ethereum's market cap then was in the $560.00, 580 billion range. That's the ballpark we're talking about. And it's not far-fetched. It doesn't take much for XRP to get there. So for those predicting Ethereum might hit $10.00 this cycle, imagine XRP keeping pace. At that point, XRP could skyrocket to $20.00 or more. I get why people are making the arguments they are. Honestly, I can't predict the future or make price calls, but nothing being said seems outlandish. Take the idea of XRP following Ethereum's path last cycle, potentially hitting $10.00. For many, that doesn't feel like a stretch at all. It's a solid argument, really. The reasoning makes sense. Here's the kicker. XRP is being compared to Ethereum's role in the last cycle. From market sentiment to fundamentals, XRP is positioned perfectly to shine, even as most people remain skeptical and bet on Ethereum to dominate again. But here's where I have a small bone to pick. This claim about people being bearish on XRP, yeah, I'm not buying it. That doesn't quite line up. Maybe there's a typo, but let's be real. People aren't bearish on XRP. Right now, Ethereum sentiment is at an all-time low. People are seriously bearish on it, almost like they've completely written it off. Honestly, I'm not sure if that's a misunderstanding or if my brain is just refusing to process the pessimism correctly. Either way, it's clear. Ethereum's not getting the love it used to. That's my only gripe with the current narrative. It's a solid discussion overall, and I think there are some fantastic points being made, but wow, Ethereum sentiment, it's in the absolute gutter, like rock bottom. And if that wasn't enough, I've noticed something else. Lately, a few folks have crawled back out of the woodwork to start complaining about XRP's price again. Seriously? It's over $2.00 now. It's not clinging to 28 cents anymore. Maybe it's just newer market players venting their frustrations, but man, some people will never stop complaining, will they? It's interesting. You don't see much talk about this. From what I've observed in the XRP community, most of us are feeling pretty thrilled to be XRP holders right now. Oh, but let's dive in. Someone recently shared their perspective saying, don't get me wrong, I expect Ethereum to perform well, but XRP, that's the crown jewel of the 20252026 cycle. Soon enough, the world will catch on. Honestly, that's a narrative I fully stand behind. I genuinely believe it. If XRP claims the #2 spot in market cap, I won't be shocked one bit. Now, check out this post by Crypto Insight UK. He's comparing XRP and Ethereum, and here's what he says. The macro setup is pointing to a summer rally. Could this align with the long-awaited alt season? I don't currently hold Ethereum because I believe leaders like XRP will likely outperform in percentage gains this cycle. That said, Ethereum still holds strong value and as a top altcoin deserves attention. Eventually, we'll see its liquidity push it past $4,200.00. That wouldn't quite hit the all-time high from the last cycle, but it's getting pretty close. Now imagine XRP reaching that level, call it around $8. Even if it just matches the previous peak, it's clear why so many analysts see $10.00 as an easy target for XRP. Makes sense, right? I'm not claiming to know who's spot on here, but I understand the logic behind these predictions. And honestly, that's just one of many arguments coming from chart analysts. It's a solid one though. Meanwhile, Ethereum dominance is scraping rock bottom with the weekly relative strength index hitting its lowest level ever. But here's the twist. The stochastic RSI is starting to tick upwards from the oversold zone, hinting at a potential bounce. Take a moment to think this through. Look at the chart in front of you. It's the Ethereum market cap dominance chart. Notice how incredibly low it is, and check out the RSI on this chart. It's at the lowest level ever recorded. Yeah, you heard that right, ever. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While this is a dominance chart, it got me thinking about the XRP/USD chart. Remember last year, people were quick to dismiss XRP, saying it wouldn't go anywhere. But come on, let's not be fools here. That logic doesn't hold up because, as we all know, history has a funny way of repeating itself. In the past, whenever XRP was down this badly against Bitcoin or other pairs, if you prefer, that marked the moment of greatest opportunity. Funny how it works, isn't it? Those lows often signal the bottom. That's exactly what happened in 2024, a time many thought was the end of the world. Now, here we are again. Prices are in the gutter. Ethereum's dominance has dipped and the doom and gloom crowd is louder than ever. But let's be real. It's not the end of the world for Ethereum. Far from it. At some point, Ethereum is going to explode to the upside. And I, as a proud Ethereum holder, can't wait to watch it happen. Since 2017, we've seen this play out. Same for XRP. But what really gets me excited is what this could mean for altcoins. History has a way of repeating itself, and when Ethereum starts moving, the entire market tends to follow. Now, there are plenty of arguments to dive into here, but here's the exciting part. Even if Ethereum doesn't hit sky-high levels this cycle, the gains could still be life-changing for many of you watching this unfold. That's what makes this moment so thrilling. It's all about the potential. And then there's this. Bitcoin dominance is hovering near levels we've seen right before previous alt seasons kicked off. The weekly RSI and stochastic RSI are already signaling overbought conditions. Take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's fascinating. So if you're wondering whether this kind of shift is even possible, history says yes. Just look at the last cycle. Bitcoin dominance peaked and then it absolutely tanked, fueling a massive altcoin rally. As Bitcoin dominance began to drop, it didn't mean Bitcoin's price was falling. In fact, it was rising, but its grip on the market loosened. Why? Because we were in an alt season and alts were going wild. The same thing happened in the cycle before this. Just take a look. Remember 2017? Look at that crazy spike. That's what we're talking about. Here's the deal. Bitcoin dominance is now approaching levels where it tanked before. And what happened back then? Altcoins exploded. The data suggests history might repeat itself. Now, about XRP, there's a case to be made that it'll keep outperforming percentage-wise this cycle. Honestly, that checks out. It makes a whole lot of sense, my friends. I'm all in on that idea. Just because XRP has been crushing it so far doesn't mean it's out of steam. Far from it. I don't buy that for a second. In fact, I'm willing to bet there's a lot more fuel in the tank. Think about how Ethereum performed last cycle. That kind of growth isn't just a dream in crypto, it's reality. Remember, Ethereum hit a low of $88.00 before skyrocketing to $4,861.00. Let that sink in. $88.00 to $4.86. These massive swings aren't just possible in crypto, they happen. I genuinely believe XRP has that same explosive potential. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the nature of the game. So don't get discouraged if the market feels like it's dragging its feet. This is how crypto works. Sideways movement, wild volatility. It's all part of the ride. If you look at charts from the past 16 years, you'll see this is par for the course. This asset class is unpredictable, sure, but it's also packed with potential. And that's what makes it so exciting. Everything's looking good and the best is yet to come. Let's dive into this post. I'll keep it short and sweet. This is from chart analyst Crypto Wizard, sharing insights on an XRP/Solana chart, essentially XRP priced against Solana. He points out, we rode the wave from the bottom during the expansion, but now what? Take a look. It's clear what he's getting at. XRP was massively undervalued against Solana, similar to its position against Bitcoin. Timing might vary, but conceptually, it's the same. Many coins and even the broader crypto market faced similar undervaluations. Look at the total chart, boom, a breakout followed by a slight cooldown. So what's next? Crypto Wizard says the chart is signaling a big move is closer than expected. XRP is set to outperform Solana in the next breakout with a new all-time high on the horizon. These are just a handful of the analysts I follow, and they're all singing the same tune. XRP is gearing up to dominate the competition. In 2024, they were spot on, and they're saying it's far from over. XRP is poised to keep outperforming. This is our moment, folks. This is the market cycle for XRP, not Ethereum, not any other coin, and definitely not Bitcoin. Let's be real. Bitcoin now offers the lowest ROI over time compared to the rest. The excitement in crypto right now, it's unmatched. So tell me your thoughts. I won't be shocked when this market inevitably takes off, whenever that may be. I don't try to predict timelines. That's not my style. But when it happens, I'll be ready. My exposure is set, and I'm confident XRP will deliver the life-changing wealth I've been working toward. It's not a question of if, it's when. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make decisions to buy or sell based on my words. Seriously, that's not the move.